It's 24. This isn't going to be edited. This is going to be pretty raw. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. The reason why this is going to be pretty unedited is because I don't think I need to edit it. I think my reaction to the unfortunate case that is gaming journalists' interviews will get my point across without having editing and things of that nature. So it won't have an intro or an outro or any visual examples. So let's get into it. IGN interviewed developer game director Matt Teague like 4 years ago on a video game called Fall of Cybertron. It was a really good game if you were a Transformers game. It was probably average if you weren't. But the interviewer itself was Mitch Dyer. And you'll see this constantly throughout IGN interviews, GameSpot interviews, Polygon interviews. You'll see this a lot. They try and start off with either some comedy. They try and say, like, for instance, I have a quote here that says that Mitch Dyer said the interviewer, he said that pretty much in the game, you're laser beaming stuff as a Transformer. He didn't talk about the story of the game. He didn't talk about the actual fall of Cybertron. If you aren't aware of the game, it's the sequel to War for Cybertron, where the planet Cybertron is dying, the Autobots they need to escape, the Decepticons they're trying to prevent that. Doesn't ever ask questions about that actual aspect of the game and why exactly Cybertron is in a state of decay. Doesn't ask questions about that. What he does say when Optimus Prime is using Metroplex, which is a city-sized Transformer, is that Optimus Prime may be overcompensating for something. And he's trying to overcompensate for his lack of information. You literally cannot write this shit. He literally cannot be bothered to look up on Google and look this shit up on Wikipedia and get information about the game and the game developer and the game director that he's interviewing. And he's a game editor. That's his title on IGN. And he can't be bothered to do his research. And the worst thing is that Matt Teague lets him get away with it. It's not his fault. He's being interviewed. It's the interviewer's fault. It's not Matt Teague's fault at all, because he's so passionate about the game, because he's so passionate about the product that he's trying to sell both you and me, that he just steers the conversation his own way, talks about the game in his own way, and completely, like, you could do the interview without Mitch Dyer, and you could insert any other person on IGN, or in IGN, or whoever was at E3 4 years ago. This was when I was 15. You could sub out anyone from IGN, and it would still be the exact same interview, because he wasn't informed at all. But that's an example that was 4 years ago. Let's look at something a little bit closer to home, a little bit closer to today's games. Final Fantasy 15. There was a panel on GameSpot where and I don't follow GameSpot a lot, but I was watching this video, and the interviewer was Mick Mahardy. The first thing that comes out of his mouth is that I haven't played the game, or I don't know the series very well. And the last thing that he says is that maybe I'll try and give the series a go now. Maybe I'll try and get the series started. That's perfectly fine if you've never played the series and you're trying to learn something from what other people have to say about it. The problem that I have is that he, like Mitch Dyer, doesn't do his homework at all. And this is a common theme that you'll see with video game journalists doing these interviews. And it's so weird because they seem so comfortable and they seem so laxed when they're doing these interviews. You wouldn't think that they would be kind of sweating or be very nervous for not doing their homework. It's kind of like going to give a presentation or a speech and not having any presentation to give. So you kind of BS your way through it, and people notice that. And yet all of these interviewers, they seem kind of lax. And it's like, they really must either think they're doing a fantastic job, which they aren't, They must be lying to themselves if they think they are, or they must be really stupid to think that these questions are intelligent questions, because they ask the same damn questions every single time. They ask about the gameplay. They ask, what guns do you use? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do that? It's never necessarily about, well, where's the gameplay going to progress to? Especially in Final Fantasy 15. The interviewer, Mike Mahardy, for example, was just yes-manning everything. And they had somewhat of a panel where it was Matt and I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong, Matt Espinelli and Mike Hardy. Those two were people that played over 15 hours of Final Fantasy 15. And they were explaining the game, and he was just doing this all day long. Like, it was pretty much audibly that he was doing this all the time. And he didn't have any intelligent thing he didn't have anything intelligent to contribute to the conversation. So again, you could take out Mike Mahardy. I said his name twice. I'm sorry. It was only Mike Espinelli and one other person. I don't have his name here. But you could literally just take out Mike Mahardy, and the interview and the panel itself would have run smoothly. He has nothing to contribute intelligently, or he has nothing to contribute at all. And it's sad to watch, because I actually want people to ask intelligent questions. And he doesn't do his homework. Like, he just doesn't know anything about Final Fantasy, the series, and it's a little bit ridiculous that if he hasn't played it yet, that he doesn't have anything written down about the game series. Like, I understand him not playing the game series. It was maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I first learned what Final Fantasy, the series was, and I started to play the game. But it's kind of inexcusable to go in and not know anything about the series. And you have one of the easiest jobs. You ask people about video games. That's your job. You ask people about video games. And you can't be bothered to go into your phone and look up on Wikipedia 5 minutes before your interview what the fuck you're asking questions about. You can't go in and ask questions about, you can't look up questions about the game that you're about to interview, about Final Fantasy 15, about Fall of Cybertron, about any interview. Like, I kid you not, go on E3 or watch E3 again this year. Watch IGN's panels. They're exactly the same as they were 4 years ago. Granted, they do have some people that know what they're talking about with some of these games, but that's very few and far between. The majority have no idea what they're talking about, and no idea who they're interviewing. They just know the title. They don't know the substance of it, which is ludicrous. These people should be fired for not doing their goddamn job. But that's okay. That's okay. You want to know why it's okay? Do you even want to know why I even made this video to begin with? Like, the next Electronic Sports Expo, or E3, or not Sports Expo, the Electronic Arts Expo, or whatever it's called. The next E3 is going to be in June of next year. And really, unless Sony or Microsoft have a press conference, I know Sony already revealed the PlayStation 4 Pro. Unless Microsoft reveals Scorpio in the next coming months, there's really not going to be a very big panel, or there's not going to be a very good game show, or a big game show in the next coming months. The reason why I did this is because I hate IGN. I hate IGN, and I hate Max Scoville. He's not on this list. He's not in this video, but I just don't like him. This has been 24. I'm sorry that this took me 2 days to get out. I will be I'll be releasing a game. I'll be releasing a video talking about the overarching lore of Final Fantasy 15, which surprisingly has both an anime series to it and a movie. The game has to be good. The game has to be good at this point, because they spent all this money making an anime series and starring Aaron Paul and Kingsglaive that they really need to hit this out of the park. I'm going to be, hopefully, if I'm on schedule, I'm going to be talking about Max Scoville. I'm going to be coming after that guy. I'm going to be exposing him on Monday. Because that man just pisses me off with his ignorance and his belligerence. Until then, this has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I said that twice, but I'm going to say it again. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Until then, I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day.